let's see what we can see from here. Commodore Barry Bridge, crossing the Delaware, going north, or west, kind of, going from New Jersey over to Philadelphia area. I've been thinking about what I want to say, but I also have been thinking about the weather and thinking, well, I'll feel more like saying what I have to say if it's sunny. But it's supposed to be like this for a couple days, so I'm thinking to myself, this is a lot like my life. I want my relationships to be in order. I want my working situation to be in order. When everything's in order, then I'm happy. Then it's okay. But until then, it's not great, as some of my kids might say. So here I am thinking to myself, I don't want to be dependent on the weather, cosmic or otherwise, earthly. I think the cosmic weather on Earth is the worst there is, though. And so if I'm living here in a cosmic fog, it's the same as in a, physical fog. So I'm trying to figure out how to be in my best place, no matter what the weather. So if I'm in a codependent relationship with the universe, then I'm probably in a codependent relationship with my partner, or lover, or whoever, or with my children, or whoever I'm in a relationship with. If I need them to make me happy, or if, like yesterday I was saying to my partner, men often feel safe when their partner desires them. It's not just that men are always horny. A lot of the time, a man feels safe just knowing that his partner desires him. But that's codependency. If you need someone else to help you feel safe, that's a kind of attachment. And there are attachment styles that match that. Secure is the only attachment style that I endorse, and if you're secure, you're not really attached. You're fine either way. Some people argue that, and that's fine. I'd love to hear other sides of that, but I feel like not attached is the way to be. And that means that you're in bliss, or as close as you can get to bliss, no matter what the weather, no matter what the state of your relationships, no matter what the state of your connection to life. I've been having a feeling lately that anything is possible. I was watching this YouTuber called Linus, and he had a very charming video about dash cams. It was very informative. It explained why dash cams are all, regardless of price point, are all kind of shitty in terms of graphics, in terms of making out signs. And I've been comparing this dash cam to my old dash cam, and now I understand why it's difficult to make out license plates or signs. I remember trying to make out there were some testicles on a truck, and I was trying to catch that in my camera. And I could see them very clearly, but the camera just couldn't make out that kind of detail. And so I was intrigued by Linus. His voice was wonderful. He would be the perfect cartoon character, or characters, I imagine. He was very animated.
Buying a car is a major decision, and you'll want to do everything you can to protect your investment. Oh, God! Oh, what the?
And his personality was magnetic.
I did my homework. I got the most recommended. I got the highest rated units. I thought I picked up something reliable. Why aren't these things decent? Like our sponsor.
So I was thinking about his channel, And then I saw he was on my feed because I subscribed to him. And I was intrigued by one of his titles, Why I Have 80 Employees. I was thinking, wow, this guy has 80 employees. I'm sure he didn't start out that way. And as I just kept watching his infectious personality, I realized that if you're being your best self, if you're on top of your game, anything's possible. You can become anything. You can realize any situation, any state of affairs. There's just nothing you can't do based on how you're handling the cosmic weather. Because I'm sure he has all kinds of weather, just like all of us. And the more I watched him interviewing all of his different people, and the more fun I could see they were having in their endeavor, I thought, that's how you should live. Whatever you're doing. They review a lot of tech stuff, but they also seem to be manufacturing things. They're branching out. And their attitude is, well, whatever we feel like doing, I'm sure we can do it. And we'll do it together, and we'll have a lot of fun. And it isn't because he's young. It's because he just caught that wave, that mindset, and that's how he thinks. And I feel like we can all think that way. We can all get to that place. We're not going to get there, though, if we wait for the weather to be the way we want it to be. We have to get there because we want to get there, and we believe we can get there, and we expect that we're going to get there, and therefore we do. Making this video today was like getting into a cold swimming pool. And I've done that because I've been rehabilitating injuries in the past. I was in cross country and track in high school and in college. And I think I shared this once before. I popped the ligaments out of one of my ankles, and therefore I had to train in the pool. And the time the pool was available to me was 6 a.m. And so I just had to get used to getting into that pool and swimming. And swimming wasn't a problem after I got in, but getting in was the problem. And I think that happens a lot with the cosmic weather. Once I started talking, once I started thinking about what I was saying, then I felt myself getting warmer, and the cold water didn't matter, and the rain didn't matter, and the state of any affairs I'm having, connections, relationships, that's the best way to say it. The state of my relationships, it's just weather. If I'm not codependent, if I'm in a place where no matter what, I'm just swimming, keep on swimming, I'm just going to keep doing that because I'm not codependent. I'm not waiting for someone else to make me feel safe. That's a big deal. I realized that as I was explaining that. That's a really big deal for people. They want to feel safe.
Turn left on East Christine Road.
And it's a great thing to feel safe. And I endorse it. But I don't endorse relying on other people to help you feel that way. I would rather use the Shrek method, which is just to be the biggest, strongest creature in the forest, and therefore unafraid. Just feel safe because you are adequate by yourself without anyone else to make you feel safe. Other people will feel safe around you if you're like that. And that's kind of a satisfying relationship when people feel safe around you. You don't have to prop them up unhealthily, but it's nice to feel as though other people are comfortable and happy in your presence. It's way better than feeling needy. So I endorse that as well. I delivered in Swedesboro, New Jersey this morning, and I went via 76, the turnpike, the Pennsylvania Turnpike. But it's just the same time, really close to the same amount of time, a lot less distance if you go up 272. If you take 95 south and then go north on 272, it's a lot hillier, so it's nice to come back empty on a hilly road. There were 25 minutes delay according to the GPS going the other way, so I thought I'd come back this way. We also make deliveries in northeast VA, and that's right where 95 meets 272. So I'm used to driving on this road. So I thought, why not? Let's see what's going on. But in my mind I was thinking, well, if I'm on a twisty road where I have to shift and pay attention to the corners and everything, maybe I won't be able to have as much fun talking about whatever I want to talk about on my video. But again, I thought, okay, this is what I need to do because there's 25 minutes delay the other way, and I haven't tried it yet coming from Swedesboro, so let's see what it is. Whatever the weather. And again, I endorse that. It feels good. It feels like I'm handling whatever I need to handle and not allowing circumstances to push me out of my path, out of my best self's path. Here's another little place that reminds me of Maxitani. The speed limit goes from 45 or 50 down to 35. Nottingham Village. Yes, we're in Nottingham Village, and that's why we have to go 35. So everyone creeps through here. I've never been pulled over, and I have seen police in town, as well as in Maxitani. So you know they enforce it just by the behavior of the people as they drive through. So I just go the speed limit. If I remember correctly, they have amazing Christmas lights. I remember those from when I was a part-time driver before I started making this video channel. So if I'm still doing this in a couple of months, I'll film it for you. But I won't use film. I'll video it for you. This quaint little town is Millersville, home of Millersville University, of both fame and notoriety in my story. I always drive the speed limit through Millersville. It was weird when school started again. Yep, very weird. Go down to the next light and turn left, and then go a few blocks, and you're at Millersville University. When I lived in Lancaster, I would drive right through here and turn left every day. Driving a truck is much more ethical than being any part of the system of higher education. And I do think I sleep better at night. But I miss my kids. They're not my kids, but I miss them. Nobody has told me yet whether you think a no-spin day is like a no-bones day. dash cam captures the moment. Do the windshield wiper to make sure.
In 3/4 of a mile, arrive at home, on the right.
Truth is, it isn't all that difficult to keep myself happy. Give me plenty of coffee. I give myself plenty of coffee. I make it myself. Give me a baked sweet potato with butter and cheese, melted cheese. Oh, I don't need that much to be happy. I think what throws me sometimes is making sure the other people around me are happy and making sure they need me or desire me or want me in their lives. If I didn't think so much about other people, I'd probably be quite happy living by myself. I like people. I'm a teacher. I love being around people, but I don't really need them as long as I don't feel responsible for them, or that I'm responsible for making them want me, which is the same kind of as making them happy or keeping them happy. It's a weird connection, but keeping someone happy is kind of like keeping them desirous. If they want you, that means they're happy with you. And if they don't want you, they're not happy with you. And if you're a people pleaser, I never made that connection before, but trying to keep other people happy and needing them to desire me is kind of the same thing. So letting go of both of those things, it probably isn't going to be as difficult as I thought at first. My kids are grown. My youngest is 20. And while it's true that it's not as easy to become financially independent and psychologically independent in our current times, it's good for me to let go of them and help them when I need to, and I need to use my own judgment to know that. Sometimes they still need my help. I'm glad that I don't still need my parents for anything. I guess the big revelation I want to tell you about is the idea of being a people pleaser. I never thought of that in connection with being someone who needed other people to desire him. It's good. I think it's going to make things easier. This guy pulled out right in front of me, and now he's driving slowly, but that's not why I turned the camera on. That was just a coinky-dink. I was going to tell you, yes, I do bake my own in the nuke fashion. I do bake my own potatoes. Where's he going? Maybe he's a fire department boat person. So that's to go along with the idea of being independent. If I can keep myself happy, I'm a pretty good cook. I spend a lot of time every day on food preparation. I buy good ingredients. I know how to do that. That might be a good episode to talk about nutrition. Being non-toxic, I think, means eating healthy food. If you put toxins into your body, that's not a good way to be non-toxic. But that's a different topic and a different video. Make sure to ask me if you're interested in that, though. I just noticed that my original webcam can see up higher than I can. When I look forward, all I see is gray clouds. But the webcam has beautiful blue at the top. And so I had to lean forward to see it. So then I turned on my other webcam to see if it could see the beautiful sky up on top. You could go along thinking it was a gray day just because you didn't have the right perspective. Okay, so here's the thing about men. Men are terrified of not being good enough. That's a man's fundamental flaw. If anything makes a man toxic, that's it. He's afraid of not measuring up. He's afraid of not pleasing his dad. He's afraid of not pleasing his coach, or his piano teacher, or his ballet teacher. But I'd say that men who are connected to masculinity in its traditional form, where men who are ballet dancers are looked down on. I remember Batmobile lost its wheel and Joker took ballet. Like, that was so funny that Joker would take ballet. We could just picture him in a tutu. And so traditional masculinity, which is toxic, let's just be upfront about that. It's toxic mostly because of that fear of not being good enough. Men do horrendous things out of fear of looking stupid. They worry what other men think. They worry what women think very much. They just think about themselves too much. It's very self-centered, but they don't think about what they want. They don't think about pleasing themselves. They think about pleasing everyone else. And they're very self-conscious as they're doing it. It isn't just teenage kids who do that. Grown men are looking around all the time to see how they measure up. And if another man watches them back up a trailer and struggle with it, they feel like a smaller man. They feel like less of a man because of that. If you're looking at the topic of how to stop pleasing people, how to be less toxic by caring less about other people's opinions, that's where it starts. So a man isn't just horny. Men are no hornier, no less horny than women. But men would be as indifferent as some women seem to be if they weren't so worried about not being good enough. In their minds, if women don't desire them, they're not good enough. You go on Reddit, you look at the incels on Reddit, they're worried about measuring up. They're worried about not being adequate, not being a real man, not being enough. And they would take as proof the desire of women. So I'm not even sure they're interested in sex for the sake of pleasure, but for the sake of validation. And to appease that fear they have, that huge, deeply rooted fear they have of not being good enough. As soon as you can let go of not caring what the other people think, of not caring about being good enough, then you're not going to be exploitative sexually. You're not going to be manipulating people and making covert contracts and other things that nice guys and not so nice guys do. You're going to let go of that. You're not going to be pestering your partner for sex all the time. As a matter of fact, she might, or he might, or they might pester you as soon as you figure this out, because your energy will be less needy. And that could even make their energy more needy. It depends on the person. If they're at all vulnerable, they could just turn things around and they'd be pestering you, and you'd be wishing they'd leave you alone so you could go fishing or read a book. Believe it or not, stranger things have happened. Here's an example. Guys that my partner has gone out with have asked questions about me. Like, is he too old to have sex anymore? What kind of a dude is okay with his girl having sex with other guys? What's the matter with him? I could never do that. And I think that's showing this fear that I'm talking about. If you're so worried about what other people think, you can't do what you actually need to do to be happy. And you can't do what you need to do to let other people be who they are. Your fear of disapproval is what holds you back and holds other people around you back. As soon as all the men stop worrying about what other men think and what women think and what everyone else thinks, they're going to be a hell of a lot less toxic.